with more Halloween content. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make this life-size articulated Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. He's moving the head, the arms, the hands, and also the legs, so you can pretty much set him up in whatever pose you like. He's just amazing and fun. And you will see for this project you don't need a lot of materials, just a lot of patience. So, to realize this craft, you'll need big sheets of cardboards, some acrylic paint, brushes, 11 craft brads. You can find some on AliExpress for cheap. A thumbtack, white liquid glue, Mod Podge, a pencil and an eraser, a pair of scissors, and finally some gems if you want to replicate exactly what I did. For this kind of project, it's important to have a plan. To plan mine, I use an old articulated character I already had as reference. As I was looking at how it was made, I started sketching on a piece of paper. With a red marker, I put some indications of where I was going to put my craft brads. I noticed that the character I was using as reference was not able to move his hands, and I wanted mine to be able to do so. So I also added red dots on his wrist. Then I drew all the different parts a different color. For the hands, arms and legs, I used the same colors for each side of the body because they will be identical. Each part that is the same color is just a mirror image of each other, if it makes sense. It was time to draw on the cardboard, and for me it made sense to start with the biggest piece I needed, and it was the torso. To help me determine its size, I used once again my reference, but I made it a little bit bigger. When I'm drawing like this, my laptop is in front of me and I'm looking at some screenshots of the movie. I try my best to respect Jack's proportions, but I often need to erase a line and start over. I don't put a lot of pressure on my pencil unless I'm sure it works. As the project went on, drawing and painting those stripes was a lot of work, more than I first expected. You really need some patience, as I told you at the beginning of the video. I'm very fortunate to have some because my projects are always taking a lot of time. As you can see, when I was done, I cut the torso with scissors. I then realized I forgot to draw the hips with the torso, so I took another piece of cardboard, I drew the shape of the hips with the stripes, I cut it and I glue it to the back of my torso. Don't make that mistake and you will save some time. To help me figure out the size I needed for the head, I used the torso I just did. I wanted my Jack to be very happy, very smiley, so I saved some screenshots of him with a big smile where you can see his teeth. When I was done with his head, I cut it and I put it aside. To create the upper parts of his legs, or the thighs if you prefer, I just used my ruler. If you saw the movie, you know Jack's legs and arms are very long, very thin. They just look like long sticks. And I was lucky because my ruler seemed to have the perfect width for this character. So I just copied it on my cardboard. For the other part of the legs, I kind of did the same thing, but I made them loose at the end, like pants. I also drew Jack's feet. I made them very tiny, maybe too tiny. I then took the upper part and put it on top where it's supposed to go. I tried to continue the stripe pattern that was already there. I wanted them to fit together. When I was done with the stripes, I cut this part, flip it around and copied it onto another piece of cardboard. And I had to draw stripes again. For the arms, I repeated the process. For the lower parts of the arms, I used the piece I just did and copied it on the cardboard. Then I made it a little bit longer so I can draw sleeves. In the movie, you can see Jack is wearing a white shirt underneath his suit. When you work on a project like this, it's good to have all your pieces next to you. It's very weird to work one body part at a time. It was my first time and it was not easy. I was not sure of myself, if my proportions were right or not. So having all my parts close to me was reassuring and kept me connected with the rest of the body. As you can see, to cut the hands, I used both a cutter and scissors. Then I mirrored that image and I had my two hands. We are almost done with the drawing. I just need to make the dangling part behind Jack's suit. In the movie, you can see some fabrics dangling from the back of his suit, so that's what I'm trying to do. I will glue that part to the torso later in the video. It was finally time to paint. I decided to keep that project simple by using only two colors, black and white. Before studying Jack, I didn't even know the inside of his mouth was pink and his teeth were yellow. I think all the merch portray him with a black mouth, so I decided to keep that formula. It adds more contrast anyway. If you're planning on making this project, make sure to buy thick cardboard. Otherwise, you will not be able to paint on it. The cardboard will just curve as soon as you apply your paint. So I strongly suggest you to make a quick test with paint before even drawing. When I was satisfied with my painting, I put a coat of matte Mod Podge, and I did that for all my pieces. You must have noticed that I didn't go with a pure white. I could have, but I decided not to, just because in the movie with all the different lightings, Jack is rarely perfectly white. He has a warm tin, so that's why I decided to go with a yellowish white. To get to that result, you'll need to apply 2 coats of paint, which is a lot of work, but if you don't do that, your paint will be uneven. And I finished with Mod Podge. Stripes, 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 stripes. Oof! After all those stripes, I was happy to work on the hands. Even so, it's the last body part we need to paint in order to assemble our Jack. Before assembling my Jack, I still had a couple things I wanted to do, and one of those things was adding some texture to him. I see that part of his costume as a brooch. It's very different from the rest of his suit, and to me it doesn't seem made out of the same material. It doesn't look like fabric, so I wanted to add a couple of gems here and there to make it look even more like a brooch. The other thing I wanted to do before assembling was to paint my craft brads. The ones I bought had a gold color and I didn't like it. I wanted them to be almost invisible, so I needed to fix that. I started by sanding them, that way the paint will stick more easily to the brads. Then I painted some black and some white, depending on where they were going to be on my model. And I finished with a coat of glossy Mod Podge. It was finally time to assemble my Jack. I was super excited to see it all in one piece. With a thumbtack, I made a hole where I was planning to put my craft brad, and with a bigger tool, I enlarged that hole. You can do that with the tip of your pencil if you have nothing else at home. Then I inserted a craft brad inside that hole, and it was working well. I did that process with my 11 craft brads. Even though my Jack was completely assembled, I still needed to glue the dangling part on the back. I put the glue where it will not interfere with the moving legs. Then I put something heavy on top and I let it sit all night. And I was done. I really love how he turned out. He's a little bit bigger than I first envisioned, so I had more work to do, more painting, but it's okay because that way he really makes an impression when somebody walks in the room. So, what did you think about this crafting? Did you like it? Would you like to see more Nightmare Before Christmas DIY from me? Because I have tons of ideas and things I would love to try, so let me know. And that's it for today. I hope you had a great time. If you liked that video, please like, it really makes a difference for me. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe. Stay safe and spooky, and I'll see you soon with more Halloween stuff to come. Bye!